Hello, this is Coworking with Iris, where we talk about co-working community. And this is episode 32. And today I am talking about, I'm talking with Latifa Redju, and we are discussing the Port Workspaces work trade program for co-working members. I'm looking forward to this conversation and sharing this information with you because over the years I have had many different conversations with different co-working operators who really have tried to have a successful work trade program for their members. It seems like a win-win situation, but it is really challenging to build, to manage, and to maintain one that is actually beneficial to both the members and to the space and the community manager. So when I learned about the Port Workspaces program and the way that they operate their program, I found it compelling enough to want to present it as a show to the rest of the co-working world. So this morning, I'm talking with Latifa, and good morning, Latifa. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And Latifa, let's start out. Tell us about yourself and what is your co-working story?
So I've been part of the Port Workspaces for about 2 months now. So I'm pretty new. And yeah, it's been a great experience so far. We're in the heart of Oakland. We have about 1,000 members, I want to say. So it's a huge space. We have 3 locations, 2 a little further down the street, more offices, I guess. So this one is the big one with just a bunch of different workspaces, such as private offices, cubicles, dedicated desks, dedicated team tables. So yeah, we have just different people, different mentality, and yeah, so it's been a very challenging and great experience. So yeah, I like that. I'm really happy.
And had you co-worked anywhere prior to joining the Port, or had you even heard of co-working?
Yeah, I've heard about co-working a lot. A good friend of mine kind of pushed me into it, telling me that it would be a great fit for me when I was looking for a job. My background is absolutely totally different. So I studied development in school. So it kind of touches a bit about everything. But so yeah, so I worked in education before in France. Came back here working in the service industry, and yeah, so kind of fell into it.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the co-working world. We're so excited to have you. So why don't we just dive right in, and you can get started by sort of describing the overall gist of the Port's work trade program.
Absolutely. So again, this is not something that I created. It was already there, so I just basically stepped into the program. And so yeah, so basically I'm in charge of it. We have about 8. We call it the First Meet program. And we have 8 of them. So we basically exchange hours of help for a discount on their membership. So we have a couple of them. The first one is for $20 hours a month. You have a discount of $225 a month, which is pretty much what we. This is the price of the membership of the regular membership for coworker. So so that we have this one. The second one is 16 hours a month for $150 off. So we advertise it. We try not to exchange it. We try to have that with people that are already members, just so we know them and we can trust them a little bit. So that's what we do. So yeah, so we kind of advertising within the community, talk about it. Hey, if anyone wants a discount for their co-working, this is what we offer. We also don't put the discount on the first month. What we do is, I just had one first May that wants to start in February, for example. I start the discount in March, just to make sure that he does his hours. As much as we want to trust everyone, unfortunately, we had someone that just left in December and didn't do her hours. So that happens either because they don't have the time, or they're traveling, or they forget. So yeah, we keep that to make sure that nobody deals with something that they owe us, basically. So we keep that for the last month. So what the First Mate program is, so what it involves is basically help with mainly the kitchens. Again, we have a lot of those. We have 3 huge kitchens and 3 little ones, I believe. So it's just making sure that coffee, we have enough coffee, tea, and everything um, at all moments of the day, emptying the dishwasher, filling them up sometimes if people don't do it themselves, and making sure everything is just clean, basically all over the space. So that's what it involves, basically. And we also, we have about 4 shifts a day. So one in the very beginning of the day, so before 9, ideally, before everybody comes in, just to make sure, again, we have enough coffee and everything for everyone. One after the morning rush, so I would say 9 to 11-ish. And we have one after lunch and one towards the end of the day again. So this is how we break it, depending on how many first meets we have. I'm actually about to add another one in the middle of the day because lunchtime is kind of crazy, right?
Okay, so so the program is basically, you have 2 different tiers. If I were a member of your space, I would have the option to trade my time 16 hours a week for $150 off, or 20 hours a week for $225, which is effectively the cost of my membership. That's a pretty amazing deal.
Yeah.
That would be a commitment for me of between 4 and 5 hours a week of, it sounds like, kitchen duties. Of course, a co-working space that's listening or watching right now could have those duties be anything. It doesn't have to be kitchen duties.
Absolutely.
So those shifts, are they broken down into 1-hour shifts per day? Is that how?
Exactly.
Okay.
Sorry, a little cold.
That's okay.
I'm okay.
It's that time of year.
I know, January cold. So yes, this is what we have right now. We have some coworker that we're trying to be flexible with them. So we have one, for example, that have a couple of hour shifts on Saturday. So he's here, and whatever we need, we just ask him to do it, because we do have people that come and work during the weekend as well, some of them. So we're just making sure that, again, the place is running nice and easy, and he can just still do his thing. So yeah, we do have, again, we're very flexible with the first name. We just try to make sure that they're happy and they can come whenever it's convenient for them.
And so do you build a weekly schedule of these shifts?
Yes.
And you slot members in by the week?
So what I do is we have a Google Calendar, and all of the all of the shifts are open, basically. So whenever a member joins, he just needs to come and put his name, his or her name, whenever he's available, basically.
Okay, so a member signs up for their own shift.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
We don't. I basically don't do anything. I mean, I make sure at the end of the month, I just look at the hours. We just make sure we ask people I ask people to let me know in advance if they can't do their shift, if they're sick of or anything. And I try to ask them also, please try to get somebody else to cover for you. Because I don't have a lot of time, unfortunately. We have, there's just 2 community managers for this entire place. So that's.
Yeah, that's a big space. I love that space.
It is a big space, yes.
And so, so a member signs up for the shift, and then assuming they show up and they get started on their shift, do they come to you first to ask you what needs to be done? Or do you have an ongoing list, like maintenance list, that they know exactly what they do, so they kind of do the same thing every time?
Exactly. Sorry again. Okay. Sorry. So yes, we have, so they have an ongoing list to do, and most of them know what to do. I do ask them to come and check with me in the beginning of the shift. Most of them don't really do it. I have 1 or 2 person that do it just in case, which I appreciate always. But yeah, most of them don't, and it's fine, because again, I know that we have a lot of kitchen, and I know what they need to do, and they know what they need to do as well. So, and unless a person, the one that come and check with me usually, because it has a 2-hour shift. So.
Okay, and so then when their shift is complete, how do they let you know that their shift is complete and that they've done what they needed to do?
Same thing, they're very independent.
Okay.
I mean, it's pretty clear. Again, we have 800 members in this space. If something is not done, you can clearly tell
You
that
can
it
tell.
hasn't been done. So I trust people.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
a little
good
too much sometimes. But yeah, I trust them for them to do their job. I do walk around the space all the time because I do tour because we always have something to do. I do ask them to let me know if there is anything that is missing, broken, or anything that needs to be taken care of, obviously. But yeah, and again, I go around the kitchens all the time, make sure things are okay still, you know. So.
And so if you're not checking them at the or checking in with them at the end of the shift, at what point do you find that you need to have a little conversation with people, or, you know, like, hey, I noticed that this was happening, but this isn't happening and we really need it to happen, or something like that? Do you find yourself having those conversations with members?
I do if they don't do their hours, which happened in November, a lot, and December as well. So I did. I asked them to come and talk to me directly. So that's the thing. So in that situation, I would send them a private message and say, please can you come and see me? We have to talk about something. And I tell them, like, you know, I wish you would just come to me directly. I don't want to have to be a backup. And just tell me I didn't do my hours, and that's totally okay. You know, we're very understanding about that. We'll try to find other ways for you to actually do it. And we're not very strict about it. If you're missing 1 or 2 hours, it's okay. Like I said, it happens. Let's not make it happen every month, but if it happens once in a while, it's okay. So we just ask people to be pretty straightforward with us. And if that doesn't happen, then I have to be on top of it and just ask them, hey, I need someone to do this and that this week. Can you please take care of it? And so I'm like, yeah, of course, it's okay. And they do. So that, and we have a meeting once in a while. I mean, again, I just joined about 2 months ago. So when I first joined, a few weeks later, we had a meeting with all of the first mate to make sure they also know each other and they can communicate and message each other if needed, covering shift or anything. So yeah, in this moment, I also make sure to tell everyone, you know, yeah, please talk to me, you know, again, you know, I'm not a bad person. Just make sure you communicate with me, everything. So, yeah.
So the ends, and you know, a few hours later, somebody else does a shift. And if somebody doesn't actually complete that, then the next person has to do more. How do you guys navigate that with the members? Do you let them just kind of work them out amongst themselves? Or do you, you know, do members come to you and talk to you and say, hey, Latifa, you know, I noticed that the person before my shift isn't really doing much and it's been consistent, so I'm concerned about that. How do you sort of navigate that aspect of it?
That never happened, to be honest, so far.
Awesome.
So yeah, I'm happy that didn't, but so yeah, that didn't happen so far. So I'm the one that basically look around once in a while, make sure everything is okay. But yeah, again, it's not that much work at the end of the day. And it's okay. Sometimes, actually, it did happen where people don't necessarily come and see me directly. We have a Slack group of the first mate, and people would say, hey, by the way, I just finished my shift and I noticed that something was missing or something hasn't been done. And yeah, somebody jumps in right away, say, oh, I'm really sorry. People know. And I like that because obviously when you say it in front of everyone, you don't want to be, you know, put on the spot like that. So that works pretty well. That actually, yeah, that just happened this week where one of them said something and the second one apologized for it. So yeah, that works out fine.
Good. Member to member accountability. I like that.
Yeah. And people, again, are like, oh, I saw that. Hey guys, is it? So it's a good way to have a good communication system for sure.
And so you, one thing that I found about your program that I thought was really a smart way to operate was to not offer this benefit to people who are not in your community already. And the way that was explained was that, you know, if somebody's in the community, then you know who they are, you know that they're paying every month, and so they'll appreciate that break. And it's more likely that somebody would take advantage of the system and not really work within it if you gave them that opportunity right off the bat as they're signing up, say on a tour. What is your experience with this so far? Have you found that existing members, tend to be more accountable and reliable than you would think somebody who was joining because they got this great discount would be?
So again, I just joined 2 months ago. So talking with my colleagues, it seems like we try not to advertise it too much. Again, just because, and it depends. Like that didn't happen so far. So the couple of people that I did on both as a first mate were already members here. So again, we try not to do it too much, just to have people from the outside come and try to work for their membership. So yeah, we try not to.
And then, of course, you delay payment, or you delay the credit for that time until the beginning of the following month. So what happens when a member leaves? They have a credit for the beginning of the following month, but they're leaving that following month. How is that credit given to them retroactively?
So either, so the only one I had, again, it was kind of funny because we owed her money and she actually asked for it. But I did look into the last month and she basically didn't do her hours. So that worked out perfectly. And I told her, we actually don't owe you anything since you didn't do anything. So that's one of the solutions. Oh yeah, that's fair enough. And so what we tell them is either, sorry about that. So what we do is basically tell them that they don't have to work for the last month because it's already in place, or we can just reimburse them. We try not to reimburse people just because it's just an extra step for us. So yeah, ideally they wouldn't work for the last month. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. So ideally, if you knew, you would just have them not work their final month. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then obviously, if they leave, you weren't really expecting them to leave, so you didn't have time to prepare, and they didn't do their hours from the last month, then they effectively owe you money at that point. Do you try to collect on that, or do you just...
I'm sorry, can you tell me that again?
So if they walk out and you didn't know that they were leaving, or if they canceled their membership and you didn't know they were leaving, I guess I think I might have just gotten myself confused. Is there an instance where a member leaves and they are in arrears with you if they haven't done their hours the month before, the hours that month?
But again, that does not quite happen because we hold the money for them.
Right.
So they're supposed to tell us 10 days before, no matter what, that they're leaving. This is for any co-working membership. So as long as they tell us 10 days in advance, like there is nothing. I mean, we have the money anyway, so
right.
They can't live without them owing us anything, pretty much. That's
Okay, yeah, I think I might have gotten myself confused there. And so what do you know in terms of the success of this program? How long has this program been running?
I believe it's been running for over a year, I believe. Not 100% sure.
And have you heard any stories of changes that were made along the way as learnings happened?
Well, I know that we had to stop with some people because they were either not doing their hours or something like that. So that happens for sure. But changes along the way. Again, I don't know. I'm not sure. Not that I know, but I'm sure it did. Obviously, like along the way, they may have customized many things for sure.
And what tips would you offer to somebody who was starting their own work trade program in their space?
Having a great conversation with people in the beginning, that's for sure. So I kind of interview them in the beginning. So whenever someone's email me and say, hey, I want to be part of the first mate program, I'm like, okay, great. Let's meet and talk about it. So we do that. So it's kind of a small interview where
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to understand the vibe and how, why do they want to do it? What is
Mm-hmm.
their background? What kind of job do they do? Are they very flexible with their schedule? Because again, we're pretty flexible,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of the shifts are, a lot of people just want to do the evening shifts, for example, because they don't want to. They come here at 10. They don't want to
Right.
do the very first one. So I'm just trying to understand where they're coming from, why do they want to do it, and uh, so yeah, that's the main thing. Just trying to read people. I mean, as any recruiting, basically, trying to understand who they are, and being very strict, I guess, about things. Um, well, when I say strict, I'm not that strict, but just making sure, yeah, you tell people if something is missing, or, well, when I say missing, like if the job is not done properly, just make sure you discuss with them at all time and don't let things
Mm-hmm.
accumulate, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and again, Slack is a great way to do that.
And so, do you find that using Google Calendar to schedule and also track the shifts is an effective way to do so, or would you feel better about a spreadsheet or something that you could sort of look more at a glance to see who's doing what on a monthly basis?
Um, to me, Google Calendar works perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I can see week by week that everybody's doing their job, and I can count the hours pretty easily. So yeah, that's perfect to me, and everybody can make changes very easily. And I can make changes if someone wants to switch shifts or something like that.
Awesome. And I will be posting, I have some documentation from you on this program and just a little write-up that you gave me. So I'll be posting that in the show notes and the blog post for those listening. Latifa, if any operators that are out there wanted to ask you for, any best practices that you have or advice that you have, how would they get in touch with you?
You can definitely email me, or just give me a call at from my professional work phone number. That's absolutely no problem. I'd be happy to answer any question you have.
Great. And your email is Latifa at the Port or at Port Workspaces?
At Latifa, so Latefa at portworkspaces.com. And you have my number, right? I forgot
Yes.
it.
And the phone can be found at portworkspaces.com.
There you go. That'd be easier.
Perfect.
Okay, beautiful.
Well, please, Latifa, tell us what is next for you.
So I'm actually creating events within the port. So unfortunately, members don't respond to it very well. They don't take advantage of it. So I'm just trying to find ways to engage everyone to our events. So we're trying to do lunch and learn, and just more casual networking events. So this is my next step, just trying to engage people a little more into these events.
Yeah. Well, I wish you lots of luck with that. When you get the system down, we'll have you back and interview about how to get member engagement in events.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It was really wonderful talking with you.
Thank you, you too.
Okay. Thanks,
Enjoy
Latifa.
your weekend.
Thanks,
You so much.
you too.
Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us today. For other episodes, go to coworkingwithiris.co, where you can also subscribe to the podcast. Keep doing the great work you do every day. You're changing the lives of members and you're building a movement. Thank you.